All right, you guys, welcome back to the collection videos. Man, I spent I used up a whole SD card blabbing about PS2 games and other stuff. So let's fill up another one, right? Okay, let's get on to the NES. I'm not going to waste your time. So the NES is okay. I guess I'll briefly say that I mentioned before I'm not a huge Nintendo fan. That's not always necessarily the case. I'm mostly not a huge fan of Nintendo products, specifically like their brand of games, their first party stuff, and also I'm not a huge fan of their consoles most of the time. I think the NES is still the best Nintendo console ever. I like the NES. We had one as a kid. My older brother had one, so I got to play it a lot. But when I moved on, when I tried, I had some buddies who had the Super Nintendo. I just never quite liked it as much. I never liked I always thought it sounded weird. I never liked the sound chip. I always didn't like how the music, the games, the sound effects or the soundtracks were. I thought the console itself was just the ugliest fucking thing. I still think that. And then the 64 I had, but you guys saw how many games on the 64 I care about, just a few, so I've never been a huge fan of their sort of some of the ways, the decisions they make for their console. I really don't like their business practices, just shit like that. I'm just not a huge fan of the company in general. But the NES I actually really love. I've always loved the NES, and this is another one that I don't always, when I go to a game store nowadays, I don't look for NES stuff really. I'll glance over it. I'll see what they have, but I'm not really ever looking for anything on the NES anymore. I pretty much own every NES game that I care to own. This collection here has mostly grown by accident. This is never, excuse the cables. This is where I stream, so I got a bunch of shit over here, but I've never really gone too far out of my way to get NES stuff. This is just stuff that I've acquired it. It's come with bundles, or I found it for cheap. I wanted some stuff, and it's just grown from there. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is. You're gonna see more duplicates with this collection. But anyway, let's talk about the NES. It needs no introduction, but here's the sort of the games that I have. Some of the notable ones that I have here. Here's the thing. See, I think one thing is I've just never, I've never quite fit in with the Nintendo, the fans of Nintendo. I've never quite I think that's why, I don't know what it is, but it's hard to relate to a bunch of Nintendo fans, just because it's sometimes it's I want to like the stuff that they talk about that they like so much, but it's just hard. I just don't. I can't help that I don't. So it's hard to relate, And then, I'd say I'm one of the weirdos that I like this Zelda. I think this is a really good Zelda game. I think it's up there for the best one with me. I like the first one too. I actually really like the first one. For years, it's see, this is my brother's. This was his game back in the day. This was my brother. See, I had the first Zelda and he had the second one. So we both had one, you know what I mean? But I didn't ever appreciate I would play Zelda. It's down there, the original one. I would play it, but it wasn't until years and years and years later that I was I'm gonna play through it all, because I never beat it. And then I went through and it kind of clicked. I was okay, I get it now. I get why people love this, because it has a certain flow to it, and from there on, I was I really understood why the first one was really good and beloved. I still don't think it's I don't think it's the masterpiece everyone does, but I like it a lot. I think it's really good. Zelda 2, I think I just really love this one. This is probably one of my favorites, if not, this is probably my favorite Zelda game. Zelda 2 always just kind of felt a little more grown up. It had a darker tone to it. Link was older. It was more action. I like side scrollers better than the top down. I always liked this one way more. To me, the tone of this one was the closest thing that came closest to Majora's, Majora's Mask. I felt really had. See, I need to play Majora's Mask through. I've tried several times, but I can't get past the clock mechanic. I hate that fucking mechanic. But I need to play that one because I really like the tone of Majora's Mask, and I always felt that you know, Zelda 2 was the first one that really had that kind of tone where it felt more grown up. It felt darker, you know, and I kind of always liked that, you know. American Gladiators is one of my favorite NES games. Really good game. It's like a bunch of mini games. Very cool. Athena is pretty cool. SNK game, you know, Athena from KOF. Yeah, this was the NES version, like the arcade game. Battle of Olympus is like a lot similar, is very much like similar to Legend of Zelda 2. Or Zelda 2 or whatever, but I don't know, it's kind of, I haven't got a chance to really sink my teeth into it. Okay, I got 4 copies of Battletoads. I'm sure most of you are familiar by now. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I love it. I play it regularly. This is another one where I'm like, I have this weird paranoia shit that something's gonna happen to my copies of Battletoads, so I stockpile them whenever I can. And I swear, some of these, like, I swear to God, I'm not even kidding. Like, the different cartridges act different. I swear, some of them are more random. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just my imagination. That's how you explain it. But one of the things you'll notice a lot about my NES games, and some of my Genesis stuff, but not all of it. Mostly my NES stuff, I will keep stickers. And the reason for that is this right here. If you can see right there, see that Video Giant sticker? Yeah, Video Giant, Levelland, Texas. This is where I lived when I was a kid, you know. This was my favorite video store. You know, there was, I said recently in the last video, I said in the last video that we had, we had like 5 or 6 videos. I mean, there was a ton of them, but Video Giant was always a treat. It was a little pricier, but hence the name, it was much bigger. And I always loved Video Giant. And, this is when they were liquidating the NES games. I bought this. So this is the copy of Battletoads, like, I bought from that store. I guess this is the one I would rent a lot. I swear my brother owned Battletoads, though. I swear that was one of his games that he got early on. But for whatever reason, I mean, I have a copy. Maybe I just bought it. I probably just went in there and bought it because they were going out, so it was like memories or something. But this is still my favorite copy of Battletoads because it's got that sticker from Video Giant. And you know what's crazy? I can't find any information about Video Giant, even though there was a ton of them. It was like a chain. And even when I moved to Oklahoma, the town that I moved to had a Video Giant, and I would go in there, and that was where I first rented Silent Hill 2 and Mega Man 8 and all that other stuff. Like, to this day, sometimes I'll find a PS1 game or something that has a Video Giant sticker on inside the case, but I can't find any info about them. If anybody knows, like, any like source on the internet where I can just read or see something, I can't even find. I think the only thing I can find maybe is one picture of like one of the original ones, but I can't even find their logo, like nothing. It's like they never existed. And the reason why I want to find a logo is because I want to make a shirt out of it, but I can't find a logo. I'm currently wearing my Bronco TV shirt that I made from the other video store I said my grandmother took me to. I'll show that here in a second because I actually recreated the logo onto a shirt, but I digress. Battletoads Double Dragon. I got this at a thrift store where we used to live when I was really little. I think we called it the KC shop, but it was like a thrift store. I got that there. Black Bass, of course, you guys know I love Black Bass. I'm a huge fan. Blaster Master, Bubble Bobble, classic. I mean, these are all really great games that you guys probably are already familiar with. Here's my Castlevania stuff. 1, 2, 3 is right down here. Holy Relics. This is a homebrew Castlevania game that Leroy got me for Christmas. It's really fun. It's very similar to Castlevania 1. And it has a lot of like new weapons and stuff. It's very cool. It's a very neat game. Highly recommend it. Great game. Great homebrew. We got Contra here, Deadly Towers. Sorry for the glare. Trying to, hold this right. Okay, and then we got these. This is the Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. I really like this game. When I was really little, this is another one I would rent. And I always loved it. I think the egg is cute and all that, and I always think it appealed to me because it was like kind of for little kids. It's a tough game sometimes, but I always loved it. I always liked it a lot, and I always thought it was really weird that I had these things, the position A and B. I always thought that was strange. But yeah, they had this at the video store. I would rent that and play it. I got that years later. Dragon Warrior, Dino Wars, which has got to have one of the coolest covers to a game I've ever seen. Look at that shit. That's some 80s bullshit, bro. Fighting Golf, the game that would damn near give my dad a stroke. This game is like so much fun. They would rent this all the time. I don't know why. When I say they, I mean my dad and my brother. My older brother would rent this all. I don't know why. They fucking hated it. Like, all it did was piss my dad off. It would get him angry, but he would keep renting it. It was always fun to watch. It's not fun now, though. He's had like strokes or whatever. But okay, so Gilligan's Island. This is another one I would rent. I really liked watching Gilligan's Island. One thing about me is I'm like obsessed with classic movies and TV specifically. I watched a lot of like classic TV shows when I was really little. So I would rent this because I always thought it was kind of funny. This is another one I only recently purchased. Sean George? What? Hey, shout out to Sean. Thanks for the game, bro. It's not a great game, but I think it's funny. So here's one of my favorite things that I own. This right here is one of my favorite things that I own, and it's Godzilla 2. So this one, you see Godzilla 1 there, obviously. This is the second game on NES. Number one, that's my favorite artwork of Godzilla of all time. Yeah, see, I actually have this right here. I found this and framed it because I loved it so much. But yeah, this is a very like strategy. It's like a strategy type game. You don't play as Godzilla or the monsters, but you do battle them as the humans. I actually like this game. I think it's pretty fun. It took me a while. This is one I would rent here. You can see the sticker has come off, but this is like the little tag when they would. I guess they sold them, right? This is one. Another reason this is special to me is because I believe this is one my grandmother bought me. She bought me a lot of games actually on the NES and from that store. And some of my favorite games came from that store. The one called Bronco TV. It was in Mustang, Oklahoma. When I would stay, that's not where they lived, but I would stay with them in the summers. But this was one of those games, and it's a great game. It's also kind of a pricey one, and I didn't know that for many years. Another thing, my favorite NES game. I don't play it constantly, but it is my favorite NES game, even more than Battletoads, is Guardian Legend. I love this game so much. It is basically a sci-fi type Zelda game, except you have top-down sections where you walk around just like you would Zelda, except the dungeons that you go into are shmups. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this game by now, but are shmups. They're shoot-'em-up sections. So I love this. There's power-ups. It's a long game. It's got a great story, like this cool like universe that has like, it builds this lore that could like be expanded upon. Sadly, this is the only one we got. But see here, this is there we go. Oh, I'm opening it upside down. As you can see here, though, there's the sticker, the Bronco TV. This here with the stars and all of that information is what I recreated and put on a TV shirt, or put on a t-shirt, a TV shirt. I recreated this and put it on a t-shirt. I was reading that. It confused me, but she bought this game for me also. And I have extras of those whenever I can get them. If I find them for pretty cheap, I'll get it, and just to have backups, Let's see here. I got some Ikari Warriors. That's some good stuff. Journey to Silius. That's another fantastic sci-fi game. Oh yeah, look, this is a thing. Shout outs to James. He got this for me for Christmas too. I usually keep here displayed and stuff. This is kind of This is literally the background where I stream. Like I stream right over here. So that's my setup and everything. But I keep this. It's a nice little thing to display and all that and everything. So I really like this. It's a pretty neat little thing that they put out. The Game & Watch series just recently. Nintendo put that out. This one has like several Zelda games, but one of them that it has is the Game Boy game, which is another one of my favorite Zelda games. It's in my top 3. So And but anyway, I digress. Journey to Silius is a fantastic sci-fi game. I didn't know about this until I was like a teenager, but it kind of blew my mind. It is such a good one. Another one that has a great world. It builds like this cool universe and never got expanded upon. It's very sad. Like, what's sad about it is we could, when we talk about, like, when people talk about, like, what's your, like, dreams, like, if you could have a sequel to a game, what would it be? Like, I think, like, often people go really realistic and they talk about games that could possibly happen or ones, and all this. Mine are, like, fucking games that nobody even knows exist. I mean, if they do know, it's just, like, the company has been debunked and shit. But, dude, could you imagine a Guardian Legend now? Huge RPG world that's got like shooter segments where you're like piloting a ship, flying through space like No Man's Sky style or some shit. Like, that would be so tight, right? I would want it to be modern as fuck, not a remake, but like, see, that's another thing. I would like I played this a million times. I like it. I like the story. I don't want to see it again. I want like a sequel. I would love to have a sequel to a game that's 30 fucking years old that nobody remembers. I think that's really cool when people do that. That's why like Streets of Rage 4 was so sick, is because it wasn't a fucking remake. You know what I mean? It was a sequel, which is what the fans wanted, let's see here. Kung Fu. Look, see, this is another one that came from the same video store. You can see the sticker on it. This is one my brother liked a lot. Yeah, that arcade game. I can't remember what the arcade game was called, but it had a different name. Kirby. I got 2 copies of Kirby. I love Kirby's Adventure. That's one of my favorite NES games. I think it's amazing. So fun. Kiwi Craze. This is the New Zealand story. That's the other word for it. Flax. Here's the Zelda stuff. So, yeah, I think... So yeah, I know, most NES collectors obviously know this, or NES fans, but yeah, see the Zelda, I think people often misunderstand this. If you're not super familiar, a lot of people remember the gold being a special edition, like it had a gold cartridge and all that. I've heard people say that. I had the special edition gold cartridge. But truth be told, actually, the gold cartridge was the common one. This was the standard one that came out normal, like first. The gray cartridge was actually afterwards, when I guess they were going with the cheaper stuff. And because of that, the gray cartridge is actually less common. You don't see the gray cartridge as much. The gold cart was the standard one. So it's kind of interesting though that people like, which makes sense, it being gold and shiny, it kind of like makes you think that it's special. So I think a lot of people get that mixed up sometimes, but yeah, so here's this game I was talking to my buddy Josh Phantom about. This is a Capcom, because he loves Capcom. Yeah, this is a really good Capcom game called Dream Master. Little Nemo Dream Master is what I was trying to tell him. It's a very good game based off a cartoon. He was thinking The Fish, I think, but good platformer and stuff. You should definitely try it out. It's a really good game. Everybody should. Lolo. I am actually actively trying to get all the Lolo games. I do love these. This is every once in a while there's some games in the NES collection that I am actually going after, and Lolo 2 and 3 is one of those. Magic Darts. This is one of my favorite games. You can play as a fucking alien in this. It's a game where you play darts, and you can play as a robot and aliens and other shit. And if this fucking camera does not start working, I'm gonna jump out my goddamn window. Come on, bro. Fucking $1,000 camera, bitch. You can't focus? All right, here we go. MC Kids, or Mick Kids. Okay, so here's the thing with the Mega Man. So here's my Mega Man collection on NES. I'm not a giant Mega Man fan. I have played through all of the main series ones, and what I mean by that is the ones, I haven't played the X ones or whatever. I played them, but I played through the original 1, 2, 3, 1 through 11, I think is what? Yeah, 1 through 11. And I like these, but it's more like I like 2 and 3. 3 is my favorite Mega Man. I accidentally have duplicates. I didn't actively get that, but This is one I am trying to complete. I would like to have all the Mega Man games, and the only one I'm missing is 1, which is funny because I used to come across 1 often and it was cheap, you know. Now 1 is it's like $80 probably, you know, just for 80 to 90 or something or whatever more just for Mega Man 1, which is annoying as fuck. But I'm close. I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just need the first one. And 4 is a fucking goated game. That one, oh no, I'm sorry. 4, fuck 4. 4 sucks. 5 is dope. 3 is my favorite. And then 5. You know, they're good. I like them. Here's oh look, Micro Machines. Yeah, so the Codemasters games, which is what these little gold cards are, that was the Dizzy games, also put out these, which is like look at this. They're like 4-in-1 games. And this actually, like, all 4 of these games are really good. I think really good shmup. The CJ's Elephant game is a fun 2-player platformer. This is a really good cartridge. I got it for $8. But yeah, I really liked that they did that stuff, you know, 4-in-1. And there's more 4-in-1 carts from them, you know. That's the one where you can make the baby Pac-Man. I got all 3 Ninja Gaidens. That's one I'm pretty proud of too. This is, like, you know, this one was the one we had, my brother's game. This is his original copy back from when he was a kid, you know. Let's see. Platoon. Oh, I got a Game Genie over here too, you know, just for all your cheating needs. Got that there. All right, let me get down on the ground here. Let's try to go through a little quicker, speed it up. Rad Racer was one of my dad's favorite games. Probably my dad's favorite NES game was Rad Racer. Another one he would get upset about, but he really loved it. He liked it a lot. To this day, you could probably convince him to play that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Shadowgate. Yeah, Shadowgate, Uninvited. These are and Deja Vu. I have all 3 of those, I believe. These were point-and-click adventure games that were from the computer ported. I think like Mac maybe, but these are fantastic games. Mostly Uninvited, which is a horror game I really think is a dope game. Side Pocket. This is a pool game that we would rent pretty often. I think it's a fun game. Skate or Die. Those are classics. Let's see here. Spot. This is another one from that video store. See, I have several from that video store. Star Tropics is a game that I just now started appreciating. I never knew what this game was. It's like a cool adventure game. I never knew that until recently. It's one of those I never looked into. Excuse the cable. Mario 3, best Mario game ever. Hands down. I said it. I do believe it too. Mario, another series I'm not a huge fan of. I've never really gotten the appeal behind the character, like liking the character. He's just kind of boring to me, you know. But I do love Mario 3. Mario 3 is just a masterpiece of a game. It's so amazing. Such a good game. I used to have a tradition where I would play this every Thanksgiving. I didn't do that last year or the year before, but I'd have several times. This was a tradition where I would play this after eating, you know, usually with family, like my brother or friends or whatever, you know, we would play through that. Let's see, Super Sprint, great game. Turtles, the first Ninja Turtles game on NES is the best Ninja Turtles game on NES. Oh yeah, Thrilla Safari, bro. Let me look at this. Terminator. This, you guys see me fucking stream this. Love this game. The playthrough is, I'm pretty sure the playthrough might be up. One of them is an old one, but this is also one of my favorite games. It's in my top 10 games. It's a lot like, most of the stages are like Turbo Tunnel, Battletoads type stuff. So, you know I'm gonna love it. But Surfing Gorilla, Skateboarding Gorilla, colorful, beautiful game. I love it. And also, look at that. It's one of the really good LJN games. I mean, they had a ton of them, a ton of good ones. But I need to play this more. This is a good game. Tiny Toon Adventures 2. Kind of like Mario in a way, but with Tiny Toons. Yeah, look at this game, Trolls. This is a weird one. This is one of those weird black cartridges that was like really third-party, unlicensed thing. Pretty interesting, huh? The Trolls. It's weird that they had like a licensed product like Trolls, as big as they were, put out an unlicensed NES game. That's so strange how that ever happened, you know what I mean? And then I got a couple down here, you know, nothing too worth mentioning. Next up we have the Famicom and Famicom Disk System games that I have. Excuse this cable, this is over where I stream, so it's there's a little bit of cable stuff going on, but let's see here. First thing, let me show you this real quick. This is a Famicom Disk game. These are the like RBI Baseball game series. If you played RBI Baseball in the NES in the US, you'll know that, you may or may not know this, but the sequels like RBI Baseball 2 and stuff started making the characters less cartoony. They tried to make them look more like real people, and I never liked that. I was never a big fan of that. I kind of like the cutesy round characters, right? And in Japan, there was apparently a ton of these baseball games. This is 90. I also have 91, and yeah, these were great. In fact, you know, if anybody who's played RBI Baseball knows that there's so many opportunities sometimes where a ball would like fly by one of your outfielders just right over their head and you completely miss it, you know, and and stuff like that. That would happen a lot. Well, one of these games, one of the Japanese ones, added a jump button, so you could like hit A to jump up and be able to catch the ball. It created like this really good opportunities where sometimes like the pitcher, like if the ball like hit right to the pitcher, he could just jump up and catch it, and it's such an amazing addition to make the games like that, like just so much better. But the main thing I want to talk about is this this case, bro. Look at this. This is for a Famicom game, right? A Nintendo Famicom game, but I mean Namco, obviously. But look at this. It's got a little tab that holds the manual in place. Got a thing here to hold the cartridge in place, and it's a hard plastic clamshell. And also look at the size of it. Look how tiny it is. It's actually kind of cute. But look. So, you know, again, what the hell, Nintendo? Why was this just not the standard, you know? I mean, again, cheap. I'm sure it was more, you know, it's just cheaper. But man, come on, look at what we could have had. We could have had Famicom, all like NES games and cards like this, but sadly we don't. So, but you know, it's unfortunate. I kind of got that just because I really like the case. But yeah, luckily I don't have that game already. I actually have the next one. I have like RBI Baseball 91 or whatever the hell it is. So the Famicom cartridge games, I got most of these. Some of these I bought, you know, online, but I got most of these from one guy at MGC. He had like one Mario game, and I was like, "Yeah, do you have any more of these?" You know, and he was kind of shocked, I guess, that that anyone was interested. He was like, "Oh, finally, somebody who wants these damn things," and he just gave me like a stack of like this many, like 12 or whatever. I don't know how many that was, but he just gave them to me, you know, because he was just trying to get rid of them. So it got me started off, you know, pretty good. I have a couple, you know, noticeable ones here. I got Adventure Island, pretty cool. This here, oh yeah, look at this. We got Kid Dracula. If you've never played this game, it's in the Castlevania series. I think it's on the Castlevania collection on like PS4. It's a really good game. It's more like Mega Man adventure action platformer type game. Bro, it is sick. It's such a dope game. Super cute, great colorful game, very fun. There's also one on Game Boy. It's not a direct port. It's actually its own separate game. And you know, it seems like a lot of people really like it and say it was better, but there's no way. I feel like it's just people who haven't got to play this one, because to me it's night and day. The Game Boy one is like insultingly easy, you know, and I don't know. I just think this one's way better, you know. It's a full ass like real Nintendo game, you know. It's a sick game. It's great. Lunar Pool. Go this game. Look at this. It's Bobby, my friend Bobby, and Chubbers McFlubbers. I'll let you figure out which is which. But look at that. You know what? I bet Bobby would like to see this picture. He'd probably really like that, or this image. But anyway, so I got that. Oh, look at this. Splatterhouse. This is the cutesy, cartoony Splatterhouse game that was on the Famicom. I don't know if this is an English translation, like a homebrew, but this is an original card. I think this is not an original card. I think I bought this one specifically because it was in English, like a fan translation. So it's dope as hell. I love these colorful cartridges that the Famicom used. You know, they're so cool. A couple Mario games. I got like Mario 1 and 3, and which are a little different, you know, pretty cool stuff. But the meat of the collection and the important part of the Famicom, the reason I got it, was for the disk system games. Now, the console that I actually have is a Sharp Twin Famicom. It made by Sharp, and it has both the Famicom disk system and the cartridge in one console. That's what I bought. I actually got that one for, I think that was also a Christmas present, but it was one I think it was Liz's parents were like, yeah, you know, asked what I want, and that was one that I went half in on. I was like, this thing, you know, it's a little pricey, but I'll pay half if you know. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Maybe it was my birthday or something, but actually, you know what? I think I seem to remember, like, people were asking me what I wanted for my birthday. I just told them to give me money because I was trying to save for a Sharp Twin Famicom. But anyway, regardless, real quick before we get into these, you know, I've never really liked buying games online. For traditionally, I never really liked that because my whole life has been searching at thrift stores or garage sales or game stores or whatever. It's always been like the hunt, the excitement of the hunt. And I never found buying games online as rewarding, you know. Sometimes it's unavoidable, you know, but and there's sometimes I just really want a game and I'll go ahead and do it. But most of the time I never really cared for that as much. But the Famicom disk system, because you rarely see them, I've only seen them in real life, like in person, at stores or whatever, maybe a couple times. And you know what I mean? And so that sort of gave me this sort of feeling of like, because I don't have a choice, it lets me just chill and enjoy it. I get to cut loose and I get to shop online, you know, and not worry about having to hunt all the time. It feels more like a specialized thing because of that. And because of that, I get to fine tune it, right? And you'll notice it's not huge, and that's because I kind of treat it like my vinyl records, where I don't buy them all the time. I might get one every year or maybe two a year. And it's more like a special little thing. I just kind of fine tune the collection to be very specific, you know. So it's kind of how I've like come at the Famicom disk system. It's more like just a small, little, personalized, fine tuned collection, you know. But yeah, so let's take a look at some of these games here. This here is a nice little Konami platformer. It's called, you could probably put Konami Baby Famicom game or something like that. It'll probably come up, but it's you play as the baby, you attack with the Rattler. This is a great game. We did a 3-part Portal Pals episode on it if you want to check that out. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And that's another thing. I don't always know what I'm getting myself into. Like, I will see a game, I'll see the cover, and I'll buy it just based on that. I'm like, okay. Because sometimes it's fun to take a risk like that. And sometimes that's a good way to find just hidden gems or games you'd never thought to play. I have this one here. This is a very special one I went out of my way to get. It's the first Castlevania, the original Castlevania game right here. Yeah, it was a disc system game. You can actually save your progress on this, and there are other small differences as well. It's actually a little harder. It has more randomized weapon drops. There's a couple like walls in places that aren't in the NES version. It's very cool, but that was one I wanted really bad. This here is like I think an adventure, like top-down adventure game, kind of like Zelda, I think. This is a great game. It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if it's great. It was neat, you know. I don't remember how good it was. I have Kid Icarus, another game you can save your progress on. Go, that came with the Famicom. Palabor, I think, is another one that... No, I don't think this came with it, but I think I ordered this. Very cool, based off the anime, you know, the Mobile Police. Really neat. This here, I'm going to explain. Oh, God. Okay, hold on. So, that's Kiki Kai Kai. Both of those are. This is another kind of like adventure game that I bought strictly on the cover. I was like, well, this looks cute. I like the colors. Sunsoft. All right, cool. I'll buy it. I don't fully remember how it plays, but I thought that was a really good addition. I like when they have colored spines. That's really nice, you know. Gundam SD, like this is a strategy game. It's kind of fun. I played it. This is Ultraman, and last but not least, Zanak, which I actually bought this one in person, C1499. This was at GOT Games, I think, in Oklahoma City. They always get interesting stuff. GOT Games always gets weird shit that you just never see anywhere else. Yeah, so there's those. Okay, let me explain this. So, Kiki Kaikai, you see, oops, I grabbed the wrong ones. So this is Kiki Kaikai. This is the first Pocky and Rocky game, like the first one. I think they're all called Kiki Kaikai in Japan. I don't know for sure, but basically the first game in the series was actually an arcade game, and this is it. And I love that series so much. And you'll notice, see, same game. You might be wondering, why do you have two, and why does one not have the label? Well, the reason why is because an interesting thing about the Famicom disk system is that you could take this disc, and back in the day in Japan there's these kiosks, and you would take these discs and you would go stick them in the kiosk, and you could write a new game to it, like purchase a new game. I guess it would be cheaper, I think. I don't know totally for sure, but it would be cheaper, I guess, and you could get a new game, and I believe you could get new labels, because I actually have some labels. I think it would print you off labels maybe, or you could just buy them separately. But a lot of people, I guess, just didn't do that. They didn't replace the labels. So whenever you collect Famicom game or Famicom disk system games, one little thing you start to learn very quickly is that it's never for certain that you're going to get the game that you're buying. You're never totally sure unless somebody tests it, which a lot of times they don't, you know, because a lot of times they'll have the game but not the console. So you're never fully for sure. So it's a double risk that you might not get it. And that is actually the case for what happened with this one. So I had to buy it twice. Basically, this came in, and I think I bought it with all that artwork, but it was the wrong game. So I got this without the artwork, which made it cheaper, and then switched them, you know, replaced them. But yeah, this actually had like some shooter game on it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, yeah, that I think it was Xevious. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's what happens with this. So it's a risk you take, another risk you take when you collect Famicom disc games. But I think that's also, again, that's kind of the fun of it, though. You know what I mean? I think it's just a lot of fun. But I love the Famicom disk system just so much. I think it's the coolest thing ever to have games on like a little floppy disk thing like that, and you have to flip them, and it's just a cool experience, and they look cool. I like the size of them. This is like the perfect size game. You know, I love smaller cartridges or smaller cases and stuff. I love that shit. Bro, I always thought the Switch cartridges should be tinier. I mean, not the cartridges, the Switch cases that hold the game should be tinier. But anyway, I love the Famicom disk system. It's one of my favorite things, and it's just one of these niche little collections, you know, and yeah, I just treat them like records, you know, just one every once in a while to treat myself. Here's some of the artwork and like stuff that came with my Sharp Twin Famicom when I bought it. It actually came with quite a few things. One of them did, see all these, they're like extra labels. So I actually have the opportunity here to buy some of these games that I have see the artwork for. There's actually, I have when I stream and I go to commercial break, I actually have a commercial for this game. I don't know how it works, but I don't know, you talk to this girl or something. But anyway, you see I have these different cover arts for them that I guess the guy Addy sent with them. So luckily, if I ever want to get these games, then I could be able to probably get them for cheaper, because I won't have to worry about getting ones with artwork. I have an extra sleeve here that came with it, and here is a bunch of extra manuals he had that came with the game. So that's nice. or that they came with little manuals. I don't know where you would fit these in, so I guess you just have to hang on to them separately. But yeah, that's basically what this is. A little game manuals, thing teaching you how to play Go. You know, there you go. I wish I could learn how to read Japanese. Hell, speaking it would be dope too, but just reading it would be so helpful, you know. It would open up my world so much more, because, like, you know, it's like I was saying with PS2 being so hard to get the like import games working, and then I want to play fan translations, and that's hard. It's like, man, if I could just read Japanese, I could just play them. But anyway, yeah, so this is all my stuff I have for the Famicom Disk System, just a bunch of extras that I have that I hang on to. So yeah. Alrighty guys, that's it for all the NES and Famicom stuff and everything. So just stay tuned and we'll see and do some other stuff. So let me know if y'all like this, and next up we're going to talk about some PlayStation and Neo Geo. So take it easy.